Here's a brief history of Pasq and the ADV-1. In October of 2019, Rod started to explore building his dream trailer. He started with PVC, hoping to have someone make it for him in metal later. After seeing the PVC prototype and doing some research, he and his partners decided to explore it as a business. They were super lucky and stumbled upon design engineer and motorcyclist Luke Pomeranke, who quickly signed on. They enlisted Warp 9 wheel makers to make a custom wheel, and they eventually found an air shock made by Fox that worked perfectly. They started reaching out to pannier manufacturers, hoping to get a partnership or two going. The first to respond were the good people at Giant Loop. In September of 2020, the company was incorporated. A name, of course, was required. After a lot of brainstorming and dithering, the team decided on Pasq, which is a modified spelling of a hardy purple prairie flower. It was also trademarkable. The logo came next. A lot of options were considered, but in the end, a simple, elegant design that could be seen as a bird flying to the right or a trail between two mountains seemed perfect. 2020 was spent with Luke putting in long hours designing in SolidWorks CAD software, and then he and Rod continually refining. The team set a deadline to launch the trailer at the BMW MOA National Rally in Great Falls, Montana, in mid-June of 2021. The first step was to get the tubing laser cut and bent to their exact specifications. Pasq is headquartered in Chicago. The tubes were cut and bent in Milwaukee, and then transported to Barnstormer, a custom metal shop about 60 miles south of Chicago. It was when the tubes arrived at Alex and Amanda's shop that the magic began. After a week, Luke and Rod took a day trip to Barnstormer to check out the progress and to see the jigs they'd made to assemble and weld the ADV-1. Everyone was nervous because they had a very tight deadline to make it to Montana in time. All of the branded stuff started coming in to take to the rally, and after a few days, everyone headed back to Barnstormer to assemble the very first ADV-1 prototype, and to take it on its very first pull behind Rod's Super Tenere. The ADV-1 was quickly disassembled on the very day it was assembled, and on their way back to Chicago, Luke and Rod dropped everything off at a powder coater. Rod and Luke reassembled the now black ADV-1, put on the decals, and headed across the Great Plains to Great Falls and the BMW MOA National Rally. It was a huge success, and the booth was mobbed the whole rally. They were also able to pull the ADV-1 behind a 1250 GS for the first time, which requires a special axle adapter. After getting back to Chicago, they were able to finally place the ADV-1 next to the PVC prototype that started it all to see how far they'd come. At the MOA rally, Luke and Rod met the team at Denali Electronics. The Denali team made it clear that they would love to help out on the development of the ADV-1 by providing lights and a much-needed wiring harness. Also at the rally, they met the folks at Jesse Panniers, and another amazing partnership was formed. With winter's February grip on Chicago, Luke and Rod turned south. They spent a couple of weeks in Arizona testing as well as taking photos and videos. They were able to get some off-road time as well as highway miles. They were thrilled with its off-road abilities, but were surprised to find they weren't happy with the ADV-1's performance at higher speeds. While the team headed to Overland Expo West in Flagstaff, where the ADV-1 made several best of show lists, Luke was hard at work looking for options to improve higher speed performance. He found the perfect solution, the trapezoid hinge. He quickly made a proof of concept prototype out of off-the-shelf hardware. The trapezoid hinge proved to be amazing. It turns as a hinge should when you're steering your bike with the handlebars, but when you're going straight and steering by leaning, it locks. You are then not a motorcycle pulling a one-wheeled trailer, but instead a three-wheeled vehicle that is perfectly stable at all speeds. The team spent the summer of 22 showing off the ADV-1 at a variety of rallies and expos around the country. The nearly universal positive reaction was beyond their expectations. They also made version 2 of the trapezoid hinge, which was closer to what they wanted for the final design. As of October 2022, the final design is nearly complete. It's very different from the original prototype, but at the same time, very familiar. It will carry the same amount of gear, but is nearly 2 feet shorter and about 25 pounds lighter. It will be made without welding, but will still have the 6 inches of suspension travel and will handle off-road conditions as well as highways. Delivery of the ADV-1 is planned for spring of 2023.